North Carolina has the third largest active military presence in America. We have Fort Bragg, Camp Lejeune. We have half of America's Special Operations Forces here in North Carolina. How do we make this state attractive to keep our veterans? How do we in turn then leverage their skills, training, and ability to draw employers? We want to leverage that veteran talent pool. So this is part of a big strategic goal.
We would like to welcome Ilario Pantano to Hiring America. Ilario is the Director of Veterans Affairs for North Carolina. He joined the U.S. Marine Corps at age 17 and fought in the first Gulf War in 1991. He served as a sergeant for the UN peacekeeping operations in what was then Yugoslavia. Ilario earned his BA in business in night school while working as a commodity trader for Goldman Sachs by day. He rejoined the Marines at the age of 32 and led a platoon in the first fight for Fallujah in Iraq in 2004. After an honorable discharge, Ilario has continued to serve as a veterans advocate and has been a candidate for the U.S. Congress. Ilario, it is an honor to welcome you to Hiring America. Thank you.
When you start going over that bio, I'm starting to feel dated.
We don't want you to feel dated. But let's first talk about your decision to join the Marines at a very early age. Did you know that this was something you always wanted to do?
Well, I was always attracted to the uniforms. But, you know, one of the things that makes my background relevant here as the Director of Veterans Affairs is I have, like many of our now separating veterans, I've actually gone through the transition process twice. I have a passion for veterans. I have a passion for service. As you noted, I was 17 when I did it the first time. But, you know, I'm a Marine. I'm not that smart, so I had to do it again.
Talk to me a little bit about those transition hurdles.
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges for veterans is that when they make the decision, a very noble one, that they want to serve their country, they remove themselves from the continuity of their peer track. So while their peers go on to colleges or part of fraternities or sororities, then begin their private sector work experiences, they start moving with a cohort. That veteran has removed himself or herself from that track. And so when a veteran comes out of the military, 4 years or frankly 20 years, they have a tremendous amount of skill and education and training. But what they're missing is that network, that professional network that so many young people and then ultimately professionals are able to develop and maintain.
So speaking to that, you have mentioned that you want to make North Carolina the most veteran-friendly state. How do you make North Carolina or any state the most veteran-friendly?
We in North Carolina are creating a veteran-centric approach to how we're serving the veteran. Instead of the veteran going to 10 different silos, we're bringing all of these services to the veteran to make it easier to navigate. And I'll give you an example. I'm holding in my hand something that the state used to offer veterans. It looks like a little trifold menu from a takeout restaurant. And this was the state saying, hey, welcome home. And these are some services and some programs and a couple of phone numbers. Good luck. Today, we're getting ready to publish an almost 70-page resource guide that is plush with not just all of the veteran benefits that a veteran would want to know about, but where to find employment. What are the different types of apprenticeship programs? What are the different types of health or substance abuse programs available? What programs are federal? What are state? What about all the nonprofits? We hear great things about the Wounded Warrior Project or the USO. Well, North Carolina has a lot of great local nonprofits that we want to plug our veterans into.
You just touched on this briefly, but I'd like to talk a little bit more detail about your personal experience, both in civilian workforce and in the military, and how that translates into doing this job well.
I think that having a background, and again, as I mentioned earlier, transitioning out of the military on 2 separate occasions, I've been able to translate that into one of the things that we're trying to do today, which is a focus on veteran-owned businesses here in the state of North Carolina. Many businesses in the United States are started by veterans. In fact, disproportionately high number than the public at large. When veterans start businesses, in turn, they hire veterans because they understand and are able to translate the skills.
And how do you help veterans themselves recognize that? Because I can imagine a lot of them don't realize all of these great skills I have that I've learned in the military can now be transferred.
The national dialogue has changed. The good news is that we have, as a nation, we've become more savvy to the employment concerns of our separating veterans. And at the state level, we here in North Carolina are very serious about refocusing this conversation on employment. But it's also more of a focus on training and focusing the veteran themselves, himself or herself, as she is leaving the military. We're going out and we've launched programs here in state government where we're going out directly to employers and to human resource managers. And we're communicating to them at a very high level the benefit of hiring veterans. And then throughout the state, the Department of Commerce and all of their offices are listed here. I'm so excited about that. they're going out in their various communities to small businesses, which employ the majority of our citizens, and making that case to the smaller businesses and to the larger businesses, the value proposition of hiring veterans. That's part of our strategy of making North Carolina more veteran-friendly.
What about military families and spouses? Can they access this book? Any services in here for them?
And the answer is yes. This is for veterans and service members and their families. There are many programs that the state offers to all of its citizens that you don't need to be a veteran to access, but that would be useful to bring together in this veteran resource guide. And so we've gone more broadly than just, what's the best veteran homeless program, or what's the best veteran jobs what are the best jobs programs? What are the best resources across the whole continuum of care in North Carolina? And let's put all that together, because a veteran or their spouse is just as eligible to access any other service, and so we want to bring all those best services and best practices together in one place.
Do you find that you have to go out and actually speak to a lot of veterans about the programs that you're offering?
It's the lack of awareness, and that's what we are trying to overcome with this program, with the simplification of our marketing and our branding. And for a veteran with any kind of a challenge, the idea that they've got to navigate this universe of 10 million digits aggravates what's already a hot disposition. So instead, let's simplify it. Let's make it easier to access. Let's make it easier. Let's make it so there's no wrong door. That's how we're going to make a point of difference.
It's obvious you're so passionate about this. Where does the drive come from?
The passion for me comes from knowing how much we as veterans sacrifice and are willing to give up. I'm willing to die for you. And I'm not asking for anything from you except a fair shake. That's how I go to the state legislature or to various civic groups or business enterprises and say, hey, focus on veterans. It's the right thing to do. There's lots of right things to do. This is a $7 billion market in North Carolina. How's that? Do I have your attention now?
Well, tell us where our veterans who are watching can actually access your services.
Our website is nc4vets.com. Our phone number is 844-NC4-VETS, so 844-NC4-VETS. These resource guides, our goal is to get them in every government office we can, from the Department of Motor Vehicles to any state agency, and then more broadly, with the help of corporate partners, we're looking to get these printed and distributed at retail locations, from Walmart to Lowe's to Home Depot. So that's the goal. When's that coming? It might be a year or two, but we're going to get there, God willing.
We will follow up with you for sure. I know we'll have a lot more to talk about in a year or two.
Thank you, Lauren. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.